Welcome to Pub Talk, the unofficial official craft beer podcast of Oklahoma, where we're all about the three B's, beer, buddies, and bullshit. I'm Jeremy, your legendary host. Today I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Heather. As you probably know if you follow Pub Talk on social media, at Pub Talk Podcast. Heather and I just got married this past Saturday at the beautiful Tulsa Historical Society. This week we're spending our honeymoon in San Diego, visiting various craft breweries and relaxing with good food and beautiful weather, and of course a bunch of craft beer. On this special episode, Heather and I will be recording clips throughout the trip of our thoughts on the breweries, the beers, etc. Before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you haven't already, go check out our YouTube channel for video versions of the podcast. All right, let's get started.
You know, they brew 10,000 bottles of beer a day. I drink 45 off the assembly line, and I'm the asshole.
All right, so I guess the first thing I've got to say is welcome to the show. We've only been together 2+ years, and you've not been on.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for marrying me a couple days ago.
My pleasure. Cool. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, and I guess the listeners would probably be interested to know Michael was our officiant, so that was cool. Mm-hmm. A lot of people cried.
Especially you.
Including me. Yep, a lot. It was just a really good night, and I drank a lot of Marshall's Dunkel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a really good time. So, I don't want to bore people with our wedding talk, but let's get to why we're here. Craft beer. I guess the first thing I'm going to ask you before we get into everything we're going to do here in San Diego, all the guests that come on the show, we'd like to ask them if you remember your first craft beer and then your epiphany craft beer, so the one that made you go, I don't drink that macro, Coors Light, Bud Light bullshit anymore.
Yes, I would have to say my first craft beer was Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Right.
I mean, it was the darkest beer I had ever tasted at the time, and I was blown away by how the flavors were so much stronger, and that pretty much turned me on to craft beer. And I would say the epiphany was, I'm not as proud to say, but it would probably be Victory's Golden Monkey. Okay.
Hell, Eric Marshall worked for Victory, I'm just saying.
Yeah, then I had the Golden Monkey, and I was just like, wow, like what, the possibilities of what beer can be are just super exciting, and I kind of went off from there.
Right on. So do you have, and obviously I may already know the answer to this, but for our listeners, do you have a favorite Oklahoma brewery right now?
Right now, I do, and it would have to be Rapture.
Nice.
I love their sours. Their sour base is just so delicious to me, and the IPA, oh my god.
All right, right on. And then I guess let's talk a little bit about, so, you and I first met, midsummer 2017, July-ish. And I think almost all of our first dates, we were drinking beer. So any specific memories of the craft beer memories that we made when we first met?
Yeah, I remember I fell in love with Free Dion from American Solera at the same time as you.
Oh.
Yeah, I just remember having that beer with the lactose in it. Mm-hmm. It just blew my mind, and I could blind taste test, identify that beer to this day. Anytime. So good.
Oh, yeah. I think that was at Roosevelt's, wasn't it?
It was at Roosevelt's, okay.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was there or the tap room.
Definitely at Roosevelt's.
Okay. Well, as a female beer drinker coming on Pub Talk, we've had people in the industry on, and a lot of the time, even the females in the industry say they don't really like to drink beer. You do.
Yes.
So you're something of a unicorn in that regard. Any thoughts on that? Like, why beer versus wine or, liquor or whatever?
Well, clearly it's just been more socially acceptable for men to drink beer. Yeah. A beer belly has never been something that's been on a woman before, or fraternity stuff or, keg parties and things like that. It's just, I think the culture surrounding beer has been mostly like marketed towards men. And now we're coming out of the woodwork. Us ladies who love beer are coming out of the woodwork, and people are brewing for us. And yeah, you can't ignore us anymore.
Never would. Never would.
Yeah. So I think that's a thing of the past.
Yeah. For the better. So today's day one in San Diego. We just got to the hotel probably 15, 20 minutes ago. Basically set up to do this before we venture out into the city for the day. I think our first stop is going to be Belching Beaver, which if you're a long-time fan of the show, my God, that Mexican chocolate peanut butter stout is going in my mouth straight off the tap line here in a minute. Really looking forward to checking out. They've got multiple locations around San Diego. I think we're going to go to the Oceanside one. I don't know what else is on the agenda today, but off the top of my head, I know we're going to do the Stone Brewery tour in Escondido tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And then Societe, Bagby, Modern Times, The Last Point. Those are on the list. I know I'm forgetting some, but what we'll basically do here is each morning after we wake up for the day, we'll just kind of talk about the places we went the day before, clip it all together, and let you all live vicariously through us. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's segment. Day two here in San Diego. So yesterday we hit 3 breweries. First we went to Pizza Port Brewing. What did you think of Pizza Port?
It was a nice little spot. I think it was cool. Good place to pick up a beer and have a slice of pizza. I probably wouldn't stay for more than one beer there, but it was a good way to kick off the day. Yeah,
it's a brew pub, which I wasn't overly aware of, I guess, before coming here. The name implies that they serve pizza, right? But I just drank their beer via Craft Shack in the past, so I'll just be honest, I didn't particularly enjoy that one. I thought the beers were mediocre, and the environment was not conducive to wanting to hang out there for a long period of time. So we had 2 flights and got out of there. And then we went over to Belching Beaver.
Yes.
Yeah. If you've, so there's several locations in San Diego. The one we went to yesterday was in Oceanside. So, if you're not a long-term listener, you don't know why I'm excited as I say Belching Beaver, but they make a couple different peanut butter stouts that are just top-notch, including a peanut butter latte blonde.
That one I really liked. Delicious.
Yeah, so we had all the different peanut butter variations, including a new stout, which the name is escaping me right now. I'll cut it in post, but anyway, everything, bunch of stouts, really good. They also had a pale ale I really enjoyed. Their tap room was cool. Their merch game is on point.
Oh my gosh.
We walked away with a ton of shit.
I should have shown them the shirt that I got. We'll put up a picture of it. It's amazing.
Shit, go grab it.
I don't even know where it is.
So yeah, check that out.
Ooh, it's got a leather patch.
Yeah, hell yeah. And
you'll see me rocking this.
Got myself a tacker, so for the wall in the podcast room at home. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Belching Beaver. Their beers were tasty. Their tap room was nice, inviting. The cat behind the bar, whose name I don't remember because of beer, was really nice. And it was kind of funny because we asked him for the local hot spots and the places that we should really try, and he named everywhere that we had already been to and were planning to go. I don't think he named anything I hadn't heard of. It's kind of funny. So clearly well connected in Oklahoma. The advice we've got, nowhere to go. So from Belching Beaver we left there. We went to Modern Times. Again, they have several locations. We went to the one near the airport here in San Diego. Another really cool, just well-decorated tap room. Of course, their bright tanks and fermenters and everything are just fucking enormous. They had 2 walls on either side of the bar. One which was covered in old comic book pages. The other was covered in Post-its that formed a picture, so that was pretty neat. Of course, I'll clip that in here. Yeah, what did you think of Modern Times?
I liked it. I think it was really cool. Fun environment. Yeah, I'd go again.
You had a couple different, like, super juicy, just fucking, they're New England IPAs on the West Coast. I think they were just calling them hazy IPAs because, you know, East versus West. I had the New Money Flight and then several stout samples. I think my favorite part of that was, and I can't remember the name of the stout, and I'll again clip it in, but they had a stout there that I said, oh yeah, I'll do that one. Well, with or without adjuncts? Word? That's an option? So yes, please, to both. That's the answer. And yeah, we walked away with a few beers from there. That had to end our night due to the ABV on some of that stuff. It was getting kind of late. May have tagged a fire hydrant with some stickers. If you've seen our Instagram stories, you've seen that. Probably going to do more of that today. So, overall impressions of San Diego, do you have any?
It's really different because I'm an East Coast girl, so this is like completely different for me. I don't know, it's a whole different vibe, and the colors are different. Like everything, it looks like the place is under a sunset filter or something. Mm-hmm. Everything looks kind of bleached, like the colors are gone. And
shit, you could see it behind you in the frame right now. It's just like even just the sunlight here is just, it's just different.
Yeah, it's drier, less green, but it's cool. It's very laid back here. I like it.
And I think that's been what's been most shocking to me. You know, we're here in the middle of the work week, when you would think the downtown San Diego would just be packed, and it's not. We're walking around, driving around with no issues, no delays, anything like that. So that's been interesting to me. And then having been in Denver earlier this year, in downtown Denver for several days, and the enormous, just, that place is always busy and it is loud as shit all times of night. It's so quiet here. Yeah, there's no traffic noise, at least not much. A little bit right now, but like overnight, nothing. Yeah, I see why people love this place. So anyway, our agenda for today, here in a minute, we're gonna go get some breakfast and we're gonna head up to Escondido, do the Stone tour, probably eat lunch there. I think we're gonna swing over to Bagby. That's out on the ocean, so that should make for some cool pictures. Alesmith, hopefully Societe, depending on how the day treats us. And then, God willing, we can even maybe include a fifth stop for dinner at Ballast Point here in Little Italy near where we're staying. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today's update, unless you got any final words.
No.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, we're back. San Diego. This is now day 3. So we're going to talk about yesterday, day 2. Honeymoon and beercation style. So yesterday was a big day. We hit 4 breweries, also hit the beach up briefly. And I'll just go in order. So we started the day up in Escondido, just to the north of San Diego, at the Stone Mothership, their big headquarters here on the West Coast. Holy shit. That place was, number one, massive. So we did do the tour. The packaging area was not safe for tours, so we didn't get to go in there, but on-site packaging, brewery, restaurant, garden, massive merch store. I can't say enough nice things about Stone. It was, I said this to you yesterday, if the restaurant in Jurassic Park had a brewery in it, this was it. It was, they had a large outdoor area with waterfalls, and of course everything there is made of stone, and the gargoyles, and it's just a bunch. It looks like Jurassic Park to me, in a good way. It was awesome. What did you think of Stone?
I loved Stone. I mean, it was like a resort. It was gorgeous. You can, like, out in the gardens, they had all these different little tables sprinkled around, and there was like one of those codes that you scan with your phone. I don't even know what they're called.
QR codes, I think.
And yeah, you can order food straight to your table outside. The service there was exceptional.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was so knowledgeable and engaging and receptive and helpful. Like,
The tour guide was awesome.
Amazing.
He sat around and chatted with us for quite a while after the tour ended. The tour came with several samples, so I won't necessarily get into analyzing each one, but I do want to mention they had Arrogant Bastard, which most of you are probably familiar with Arrogant Bastard. It's been around forever, but this was Arrogant Bastard with Jägermeister spices. So it tasted like basically doing a shot of Jaeger. Took me immediately back to my college days, and a little while after college. Just not to shit on the beer, just it wasn't necessarily a good memory recall. Actually, Heather opted out of that one.
I wasn't going there. No way.
But yeah, we had several good beers there. The cat working at the bar, whose name escapes me, was awesome, and actually turned out to have connections to OU and Oklahoma City. So that was cool, and just shows you how small the world really is. The Coco Vesa, and then what was I can't remember the name of the new lager that's going to hit distribution soon. I'll try to
That's a lot of info.
Find that and throw it in and when you drink all day. So Stone was badass. We actually probably spent like 3 hours there when we meant to spend like an hour and a half there. So if that tells you anything about it. From Stone, we left and went towards the beach. We went to Bagby Beer Company, handful of blocks from the ocean, which was cool. I'll just be blunt. I wasn't impressed with Bagby. The tap room and setup was fine. I think had I gone there before Stone, it might have been another story, but Stone had so thoroughly rocked our fucking socks that I was just kind of sitting there like, this is it. And nothing about size or anything. It was just like the beer was okay. The environment was okay. The service was okay. We had just come from a place where it was all amazing. My opinion. What do you think of Bagby?
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah. Is that the one with the uncharted territory? Who had that?
Yeah, you did really like that one.
This beer called Uncharted Territory from them that was really good.
It had cherries in it in some capacity, right? Was it an IPA or was it?
Slightly tart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a sour though.
I don't think it was a sour.
Yeah, it was good.
Anyway, although they did have they had quite a few vegan-friendly options on their food menu.
And we got one, you guys.
Yeah, we did get some vegan corn dogs.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah,
they were really good.
But yeah, from there we hopped over a few blocks, and I dipped myself into the Pacific Ocean for a couple moments because the water is fucking freezing. But had to do it. Had to be able to say I did it. And then we bounced back to the south towards San Diego. We hit up Societe. So shout out to Brian from Frenzy Brewing Company. He actually sent us to Societe with a little wedding gift, and man, that place was awesome. It's essentially in like a strip mall area. Doesn't look like what I'm used to a brewery looking like from the outside, but on the inside, man, it's awesome. Their logo and everything is it's like a silhouette. Actually, I'm wearing the hat right now. the people in there were friendly. The guy working behind the bar actually remembered selling a gift certificate to someone in Oklahoma, which I could understand why. That's probably not very common. So we chatted with him for quite a while about the scene and stuff like that in Oklahoma. Of course, everybody we've talked to so far here in San Diego, when we tell them where we're from, when we start talking about beers in Oklahoma, the first thing they say is that Prairie Bomb? Yes. And a lot of other stuff. It makes sense. Prairie's very expansive compared to the rest of our Oklahoma breweries. But yeah, Societe was awesome. The taproom vibe was just nice and laid back, and everyone there was super friendly. The beer was extremely good, all really crisp, clear. You could tell exactly what style it was when you took a drink of it, which not always the case. If I take a drink of a beer and I can't tell what it is, that's probably not great. Not the case at Societe. They were all fucking on point. Shout out to the Coachman. It's a session IPA there. Man, Heather and I both. I mean, right? It was fucking awesome.
Special. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. Anything else for Societe?
I want to go back.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
If you guys could just build one in Tulsa, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then so it was getting fairly late in the evening at that point, so we stopped for some dinner at Crab King, I think.
Crab something.
Crab something. Anyway, it was nearby and it had good reviews, so
yeah.
We wanted some seafood, so yeah, we tried that out, and it was I would call it a Joe's Crab Shack without the steroids. So, they've got the paper on your table, and the menu is similar as far as like a lot of fried seafood and stuff. But it was cool to see there were actually craft beer options on the menu. Because you got a Stone IPA, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But anyway, so from there we headed over to AleSmith, which you may have heard of the Speedway Stout, and you have probably known that normally when there's a base stout that's extremely popular like that, there are variants. So I tried them all.
You did.
It was a flight of 4 with basically the different types of coffee, Hawaiian, Vietnamese, Jamaican, and maybe Mexican coffee. Anyway, all delicious. Had another small batch beer called Cocoa Fluffs.
Oh, yeah.
That was a nitro milk stout that was pretty good. And then, which that place was massive. They had 2 stories, large outdoor area we didn't really get to enjoy because it was dark and there was a lot of people out there already. But they had a museum.
Yeah, they had a straight up museum.
And I cannot remember the dude's name. Do you?
No, I don't.
I should probably have looked that up before we started
Baseball
recording.
guy, right?
Yeah. Anyway, a player for the Padres for San Diego that they did a collab, a pale ale with. Unfortunately, the guy died before the beer could be released, and so they've got some of his stuff in a little museum in their tap room. It's cool. I mean, I didn't know anything about him before last night, and it was still cool. Just it's just a couple glass cases with some of this stuff, but it was
impressive.
Yeah, it was nice. Any other thoughts on AleSmith?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And we tried that beer. It was crushable.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good session.
Yeah.
The one thing I was going to bring up, well, 2 things I was going to bring up that we talked about yesterday that aren't necessarily taproom specific to one place, but everywhere in this town is on point with Halloween decorations.
Oh, yeah, you guys. I mean, like 10 out of 10. spider webs everywhere.
Yeah.
Skeletons.
Zombie stuff.
Witches.
Yeah.
We gotta get some pictures. It's like every place we've gone to has been decked out.
Yeah, and if you're watching the YouTube version of the show, it'll show up in the video, some of the stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe with the exception maybe of Bagby, I don't remember seeing much.
They do Halloween here.
But yeah, even the lobby here in the hotel, there's just, fake webs and skeletons and shit everywhere. And the other thing I was going to say, going back to Stone, with what Coop has planned, if it's a tenth of what Stone has here, they're doing good. So looking forward to that. But yeah, any other impressions from yesterday?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. So today's our last full day here. We fly out pretty early tomorrow. So, we'll record our thoughts from today's adventures before we head out tomorrow. But I think today we're going to go hit up some breakfast on the beach here in a minute. Hit up Amplified Ale Works is nearby. Probably come back down, hit... we've got a few options on the last day or so. Thinking about a second Belching Beaver stop at the North Park location because Second Chance Brewing is right there. And then we also have, I definitely want to hit Karl Strauss is nearby here before we call it a day. And probably also Ballast Point is nearby here. They've got a location in Little Italy here in San Diego. So that's what's on the agenda for today. And then that'll be that. So anyway, take it from here, future Jeremy. So that's it. It's Thursday morning, like 4 a.m. local time. So forgive the sleepy voices and all that good stuff. But we're wrapping up our trip. We're headed back to Tulsa here in a couple hours. So yesterday, let's see. First we went over to Pacific Beach. Had some, I guess technically it was probably brunch, but had some breakfast over at a place called World Famous that was just about 100 yards from the ocean. Drank a AleSmith beer while we did it, their pale ale that we mentioned in the last segment. I can't say enough good things about that place. The environment was awesome. The view was amazing. They had a great beer selection, great food. And then, from there we were able to just walk up and down the beach, check out some of the shops and stuff like that. But probably the highlight, in my opinion, of yesterday, beer-wise, was literally just across the parking lot from World Famous was Amplified Ale Works. So it's on the second story of like a little shopping center. Their patio, again, overlooks the ocean. I don't know, about a block probably from the beach. Really good beers. The waitress there was super friendly, Heidi. She was even mixing some beers for us. They had a raspberry sour. Their sour base with some raspberry added in, raspberry puree, which sounds like a Prince song anyway. Mixed with their IPA, their core IPA, and it was real fucking good. I think we tried most of the beers they had on the menu there, including she gave me a sampler on the way out of a barrel-aged barley wine that, anyway, the place was really cool. Had like a music theme to it, so the flight boards were shaped like guitars, which was pretty badass. I don't know, any thoughts about either of those?
Yeah, Amplified was a lot of fun, a really cool atmosphere, and the staff was excellent there.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so from there, we hopped back downtown to try out Karl Strauss, which, kind of felt like couldn't not go to Karl Strauss in San Diego, given they're kind of one of the OGs, been around 30 years now. So their downtown location is kind of a brew pub type deal. Again, they were all really friendly. Heather told them that we were on our honeymoon as we walked in, and I think pretty close to every member of that staff came by and said something to us about it, so that was cool. I will say, I don't know if we just picked the wrong beers. I think we got a pretty good sample between the two of us. 8 of their 12 or so beers. Was overly impressed with the beer. It was kind of generic, bland beer in my opinion. Nothing against Karl Strauss. Real fond memories of their peanut butter cup porter. But from there, we attempted to go to Second Chance Brewing in North Park. They did not open until 5, and that was kind of the time of day we were looking to wrap up based on our flights being real early and stuff like that, needing to pack. But it was like 1 o'clock, so there was just no way we were going to try to kill that much time. So we kind of walked up and down the sidewalk there in North Park and ultimately ended up at another Modern Times location called the Flavor Dome. Smaller version of the tap room we saw on Monday. But nothing major to report there, just because I think we had beers we'd already had. But the cat there was real friendly. It was a real laid back environment. There were only a handful of people in there. Granted, it was early in the day. Any thoughts on Karl Strauss or the Modern Times?
I thought Karl Strauss had excellent looking food. All the plates that were coming out were gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We did have the nachos there. They were pretty damn tasty. Mm-hmm. From Modern Times, we bounced over to Belching Beaver's North Park location. It was like a mile away, so had to hit that up. Got to sample a few of their sours because of my ultimate goal. They had a beer in the case there with the Beaver logo on it inside of a Kool-Aid, jar, or Kool-Aid Man, whatever. It was called Purple Drink. So it's a sour that they only had available in 4-packs to go. So the cat that was working behind the bar let me try a few of their other sours to get kind of a comparison. So 4 of those are coming home. And then, it was a cool little laid back spot. North Park in general was just a laid back spot. But what was funniest to me was a cat working behind the bar was tatted up. I'd peg him in his 40s for sure, dude. And we were probably there 30 minutes, and he had it on the John Mayer Spotify playlist very clearly. A whole shitload of John Mayer songs. And none that I'd heard before. So he was digging deep. They were deep cut John Mayer songs. Anything to add on Belching Beaver?
No, that location was nice too.
Yeah. But then, so as I mentioned a minute ago, we were kind of wrapping up early for the day. So we hit up the Ballast Point brew pub in Little Italy near downtown San Diego, and that was our last stop. And man, that place was, as far as presentation and everything, was amazing. Just you walk in and you've got all of the ship theme, nautical themes, and big old brew house through a window. They had a kettle room, a gift shop, massive place, and their flights come on little anyway, nautical themes. So it's early and I'm not going to try to remember everything I had, but I do know I had the barrel-aged Victory at Sea, which was the primary reason I went there, probably was to try that off the, fresh. And it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. We got some food there as well. I think you had some soup and I had some fried rice. It was very good. Staff there was friendly. Cool little spot. I don't know. Maybe I'll have more elaborate thoughts on some of this stuff, on a future episode when I'm not extremely sleepy. But any thoughts on Bellas Point or overall?
It was lovely. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I think that kind of does it. Thanks for listening to this, and Jeremy, close this motherfucker down.
That guy said, don't let the door hit in the vagina on the way out. That was hilarious.
Yeah, good idea.
All right, guys, thanks for listening to this special episode of Pub Talk. I guess just final thoughts on San Diego. It was a great trip. Had a lot of great beer. Had a lot of good memories, great experiences. One thing I just want to throw out there is that we're spoiled in Oklahoma. As I'm recording this outro, we've been back for a little over 24 hours, and I have already attended the Craft Magazine anniversary party and gone to the El Kukui release. So I've been in a couple Oklahoma tap rooms, and I just have to say we're spoiled here in Oklahoma. We have some really great breweries, some really great beer being made in this state, and San Diego is a great place. A lot of great stuff happening there. They get a lot of hype, and Oklahoma doesn't. But in my opinion, we're turning out better beer here than in California. And one day I think the distribution and things like that will grow, and the rest of the country will see that. But it was a great time. It's been a really great week, probably the best week of my life, between Oktoberfest, rehearsal, wedding, San Diego, just everything. Thank you so much to everybody that played any role in any of the events of the last week. Family, friends, just everybody. Can't express my gratitude enough. And the normal spiel, right? That's going to do it for this week. Check out our website, pubtalkpodcast.com, for the back catalog. Everything you've wanted to know about the show and more. Find us on social media at Pub Talk Podcast. And as always, never forget there's nothing in life too big or hard you can't handle it over a few beers with your good friends. Until next time, chill till the next episode.